Well, it's 2021, we are back, my roots are back, and Marvel is back with their new series WandaVision. Is it everything I dreamed it would be? Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Aiden, and today we're going to be talking about Marvel's new Disney Plus series, WandaVision. It's been about a year and a half since Spider-Man Far From Home came out, and safe to say, things have not really gone according to plan. But regardless of that, I, like most Marvel fans, have been anxiously awaiting the next entry into the Marvel Universe, and so now we have WandaVision. WandaVision is a new series about Wanda and Vision, who find themselves in a sitcom reality in which they are trying to fit in and not reveal their abilities. The two most notable things about this series are, of course, that they're in a sitcom reality and that Vision's still alive. As this series is only airing once a week, we don't have a lot of answers about what's going on so far, but I think this series has laid a lot of good groundwork for something really compelling and interesting, and I have some theories about where it's going to go. Before any of that, for any of you who need a refresher on Wanda and Vision's story so far in the MCU, I'm going to do a quick flyover of that now. If you don't need this flyover, I'll leave a little timestamp somewhere on screen for you to be able to skip to. Anyway, okay, let's do this. Wanda and Vision are both officially introduced in Avengers Age of Ultron. Wanda and her brother Pietro have been experimented on by Hydra and have been given powers thanks to the Mind Stone. They are set loose on the Avengers and end up aligning with Ultron until they figure out what his evil plan is, and then they turn on him and work with the Avengers. Vision, originally Tony Stark's AI Jarvis, is now an android after being mixed with the Mind Stone, and now he also works with the Avengers. Wanda's brother Pietro is killed after rescuing Hawkeye, and obviously, Wanda does not take this very well. After ripping out Ultron's heart, Wanda is saved by Vision from the falling Sokovia, and the next time we see them is in Captain America Civil War. Now both working for the Avengers, Wanda ends up in a situation where she accidentally sets off a bomb that kills a lot of people, which spawns the Sokovia Accords. Wanda is then put on house arrest with Vision. This ends with Wanda sending Vision crashing through all the floors of the building they're in. They stand on opposite sides of the airport conflict, but when Wanda is hurt, Vision rushes to her side, and even has kind of an emotional response to this, accidentally paralyzing Rhodes. The next time we see Wanda and Vision is in Avengers Infinity War, and they are now in hiding and even considering running away together. Wanda seems to understand how valuable she is as a hero because of her abilities, but she so desperately just wants to be human and feel normal. But before either of them can really consider this option, they are attacked by the children of Thanos and pulled right into the action of that movie. Thanos is after Vision's Mind Stone, and this puts him at serious risk. Vision offers up the option of just destroying the Mind Stone so Thanos can't get it, but Wanda is very opposed to this idea because it might kill Vision. But by the end of everything, they lose, and Wanda has to do this anyway. But if that wasn't enough, Thanos then rewinds time so that he can just rip the stone out of his head, and Wanda gets to watch the whole thing happen. So she gets to lose Vision, and she gets to fail. We last see Wanda trying to come to terms with what has happened, but considering the premise of the show, terms have not been come to. Too Long Didn't Read, Wanda has been through a lot of bad shit, and every opportunity for happiness has been ripped away from her, so Wanda's in a good place. It's no surprise then that in WandaVision we find Wanda very happily living in this idyllic, obviously fake fantasy world where all she really has to worry about are domestic issues and hiding her powers. Episode 1 of WandaVision finds them in a Dick Van Dyke style sitcom in which they have to figure out what a heart on a calendar means. It turns out that it means it's a dinner date with Vision's boss that they have to deal with. We get to meet Agnes in this episode, we love Agnes, and classic 50s hijinks ensue.
What are you going on about? And what's going on in there?
The most notable part of this episode is when at the dinner, Mr. Hart asks them for their backstory, but they cannot answer. When he starts to push for more answers, he starts to choke on a strawberry, which Vision and Wanda allow to happen for a little too long. Vision then only helps Mr. Hart once Wanda tells him that he can't. Episode 2 finds Wanda and Vision in a Bewitched-style sitcom. The main plots of this episode are about Wanda trying to get in with Dottie, the town queen bee, Vision trying to help with the neighborhood watch, and this culminating in a magic show that Wanda and Vision put on that goes very wrong, but also very right. Throughout the episode, residents keep saying the phrase "for the children," and by the end of the episode, Wanda and Vision have also said it, and then Wanda discovers that she's pregnant. This is almost a fairy tale happy ending for the episode, but then, just as they're about to kiss, they hear a noise outside. The two of them go outside to find a man in a beekeeper costume crawling out of the sewer. And if that wasn't weird enough, once they look at him, Wanda just straight up goes, "No," and rewinds everything to back to the moment that they were about to kiss, except there's no beekeeper anymore, and the world transforms into beautiful 70s color. So the story is very weird, and I love it. It's so refreshing for a big franchise to take such a big swing like this, especially when they've been so successful just doing very similar things. I think this is especially good because it's a really interesting way to tell Wanda's story, and I think the swing will actually help tell Wanda's story in a more interesting and deeper way. Wanda has endured so much loss and turmoil in her life, and it makes a lot of sense now that when she finds herself in this sitcom fantasy reality, she's very content to stay there, especially existing in a world in which she gets to be with Vision. The use of sitcoms and how they've progressed over the decades is also a very interesting way to tell this story too, considering that over the decades, sitcoms get less idyllic and more cynical, and I'm wondering if that's something that's going to play out in Wanda's personal journey as well. The style also gives a lot of new opportunities to show new sides of the characters, showing Wanda trying to figure out how to fit in with domestic life, how to get in with the queen bee, learning what you're supposed to do for an anniversary from a magazine. It's a good way to make use of common sitcom stories with an added deeper level to them. Wanda doesn't only have to worry about not being with the in crowd, she also has to worry about being outed as a superhero. This is also good for Vision's storytelling, considering he spent so much time learning what it means to be human. This is a good way to put all that new knowledge to the test. It'll be very interesting to see too how this all affects their relationship, considering from what we've seen so far, Wanda seems to be the one who cares a lot more about fitting in. This is especially evident in the magic show scene when, yes, Vision is very drunk, but he makes absolutely no effort to hide his powers at all, leaving Wanda to scramble to find ways to make this seem like it was staged. So not only are their ability to seem like normal human people being tested, their relationship is being tested as well. I'm also interested to see how the Mind Stone is used in this series. There have been a couple shots in trailers that show Wanda looking at the Mind Stone, reaching for it, all of that, and it is very interesting to me because the Mind Stone represents a lot for Wanda. It's basically a symbol of both love and of loss. It's the thing that brought Vision to life and allows them to have this really deep connection, but it's also the reason that he was killed. Outside of Vision too, it's the thing that's given her her powers, but it's also the thing that's made her feel like a monster because she can't always control them. The Infinity Stones may be destroyed, but I truly believes that their legacy will play a huge part in the MCU going forward, and I think this is where it's going to start. Obviously, there have only been 2 episodes so far, but they've given us so much to chew on, and I like that a lot. There are a lot of the big, obvious, teasing intrigue moments, but there are also smaller things, like the townspeople seem to put Wanda and Vision in positions where they could potentially reveal their powers very easily. There's a scene where Agnes does the whole stick 'em up to Dennis the mailman. Could be a joke, but Wanda isn't there for it, so I wonder why we saw it. Geraldine or Monica Rambeau having no idea who she is or why she's there, as evidenced by her stumbling to come up with a name and also straight up saying, "I don't know why I'm here." The writers have planted a lot of seeds, and as a viewer, it makes me excited to see what comes next. I also just want to shout out the technical side of things. Oh my gosh, this show does such a wonderful job recreating the sitcoms that it's trying to, and it doesn't do it in a parody way because that wouldn't work for the story. They do it in a very genuine, authentic way, and it's believable that you're watching like a 50s sitcom or a 60s sitcom or whatever. Everything from the performances, the dialogue, the lighting, choice of shots, the sound, the music, everything just works together so well. And of course, the acting is wonderful. I definitely want to shout out Elizabeth Olsen specifically. She is killing it. She does such a great job layering Wanda into this 50s and 60s character that she's playing through her facial expressions, her physical movements, her vocal inflections, her ability to switch back and forth between sitcom mode and this is serious now mode. Absolutely incredible, absolutely amazing. Paul Bettany is also doing a really good job here. It's really nice to see Vision be given a lot more to do. He's being given a lot of opportunity to add more depth to Vision that we haven't seen before. And he's also just really funny. He really nails the comedy in both decades that we've seen so far. And I alluded to her already before, but we cannot forget one of the queens of comedy, Kathryn Hahn. Kathryn Hahn as Agnes is so good. Agnes is already kind of an interesting and funny character, but Kathryn Hahn just elevates her to that next level. Every scene she's in, she steals. It's perfect. I couldn't ask for anything more. I like the suspicious energy she brings to the character. You already know that there's something else there because of Kathryn's performance.
Oh, Wanda.
Tiana Paris is also really great as Geraldine or Monica Rambeau. We've only seen her in one episode so far, but she was very good, so I'm very excited to see more of her. I also just want to shout out Fred Malamed and Deborah Jo Rupp as Mr. and Mrs. Hart. They perfectly nail that stereotypical boss and boss's wife dynamic. And Emma Caulfield Ford as Dottie, the town queen bee. She has this very soft, biting energy to her that I think is perfect for this character. Everyone in the cast is so good, and it's so necessary to bring this strange world to life, and they do it flawlessly. I don't have any major theories since we've only just scratched the surface of this story so far, but I do have some ideas. One, I think the most obvious one that everyone's thinking, Wanda clearly has more knowledge of what's going on than she's letting on. I'm not sure how deep that goes. I don't know if that means she's fully in control of everything, but she's clearly aware that she has some control over what is happening, which is good, and I think that's necessary narratively because it gives her a lot more agency in the story. She's making things happen that will have consequences as opposed to things happening to her. Two, we know that S.W.O.R.D. is watching them, and we know that S.W.O.R.D. are good guys thanks to Nick Fury's previous appearances, but I don't think that S.W.O.R.D. is the only one watching Wanda. I already said that Agnes seems suspicious, and I wouldn't be surprised if she was working with someone, or someone was working for her, or she was a stand-in for somebody. I don't know what yet exactly. I know Mephisto is rumored to be in this. All I know is that there's definitely more than just S.W.O.R.D. watching Wanda. 3, I think that Wanda and Vision are going to start fighting more as the series goes on. I don't know that they'll fight a crazy amount, but from what we've seen so far, their views on how to handle what's going on are kind of different, and I think especially once Vision finds out that Wanda kind of knows what's going on and kind of has some control over it, they're going to butt heads a little. And to me that's a good thing because it means that the relationship will be forced to continue to grow and develop. They'll have obstacles to overcome and differences to work out. Number 4, like I said earlier, I think the Mind Stone is going to play some kind of role in this story. Obviously it's destroyed in this universe, so I don't expect it to show up physically. However, it could. It's such an integral part of both Wanda and Vision's stories emotionally that I wouldn't be surprised if it also has some plot significance. Again, we've had those shots in the trailers, and while that could just be an emotional thing or a flashback kind of thing, I also wouldn't be surprised if it's a major story thing. Since it's destroyed and Wanda has powers from it, maybe that makes her a harbinger of it, a conduit. Maybe people want to get that power from her. Who knows? And those are my unambiguously positive thoughts on WandaVision so far. I understand that this is a very strange series. It's a very different approach for Marvel, so I understand why there are some people who aren't on board with the series yet, but I would like to think that this is going somewhere very interesting, so I hope that those people will stick it out and keep watching. I clearly love this series, but what do you guys think? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you somewhere in the middle? Are you excited for new episodes? Let me know your thoughts and theories in the comments below, and if you liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe. I might do a video like this after every episode if I feel like there's something to talk about, but you can be sure that there will be a video once the series has fully aired. And with that, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye!
How is anybody doing this sober?